NSFW, what were the sexual education disaster stories from your school? At my school, the teacher talked about anal beep to preserve virginity, and anal stimulation in men. Now I realize she was really open to a lot, as if God, the almighty, all-knowing, all-powerful creator of everything, looks down to see Debbie taking her umpteenth beep up the beep and thinks, drat, another one who outsmarted. Do these people really believe it works like that? I often wonder. Meaning, do they really think they can trick God with a loophole like that? Do they believe it's not beep if you get naked with a guy and suck beep for all it's worth and then let him beep in your beep and therefore you're still pure? Really? I suspect God cares more about how pure our treatment of other people is than how often we let people beep. Edit. Thank you, stranger, for my very first medal. Seriously. Thanks. This was in the late 90s in middle school. The school held an assembly and brought in a group of these weird bodybuilders talking about beep, and one of them tried and failed to rip a phone book in half. I don't remember much about it except they took a volleyball net and stretched it out so the holes got really big and said something to the effect of, "This is a condom." Imagine how easy it would be to throw a volleyball through that net. Not hard, right? Well, condoms are made to protect sperm from passing through, but the AIDS virus is much smaller than sperm, and just like a volleyball through this stretch-out net, it can get through much easier. Edit. I'm shocked this was such a popular trend. I just remember being appalled at the religious abstinence only in anti-science messages. If my children came home and told me about this, I would throw a fit. I don't blame you. Beep education in the States is abhorrent. I remember how the teachers when I was in school took themselves way too seriously. The teacher said a beep directly on the desk of the girl in front of me, and she bursted out crying and left the room. I believe that's called PTSD. Yeah, it was really sad. Catholic school was a trip. In 9th grade, they separated all the guys and girls in our year 4. The guys got your typical Catholic school-esque beep talk about abstinence and going blind if you beep 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 asterisk, while us girls got to go grocery shopping and bake. We never did get a beep talk, and the next year, 4 girls got pregnant. I'm sorry, what? How did that decision get made? Today we'll teach the boys to be ashamed of their and we'll have the girls make them bake treats so they feel a little less bad about it. What will we teach the girls? We won't. What will we teach the girls? We won't. I'm dead. Knowing who ran my school, that's 100% how that went down. Not exactly asterisk 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 ed because I had to go to a Catholic school, but all of us boys got banned less than 5 minutes into our puberty talk because we were told we were gonna have the presentation at a later date. Never did. LMAO. I think they were just looking for an excuse. I don't know what they expected. Somebody asked how 2 women can have asterisk asterisk asterisk. The 60-year-old female health teacher told us that vaginal fisting is the standard method, complete with a demonstration. I have never once fisted a beep. I must be doing beep beeping. Someone link me better examples. Becky, come over air. We've been doing all of this wrong. A kid asked what popping a cherry was, and the teacher, who was a big burly idiot of a guy, bluntly said, when women lose their virginity, they bleed all over the bed, and cherries are red. Absolutely mortified expressions washed over the face of every girl in the class, and I vaguely remember one girl saying, "Not happening." Apparently some of them complained to their parents, and the next day he had to clarify, but with the most sarcastic, "Only some of them" explanation. My mom was on the PTA at the time, said some of the parents lost their. Another time, one kid asked why his balls hurt when he squeezed them, and he said, "Because you're squeezing them. Don't do that." Well, he wasn't wrong with that last part. An amp, #X200B, unless I am also missing some critical. The separated boys and girls. The teacher for the boys let us do open Q and amp, anonymously on index cards we put in a box, and he would answer them out loud. He spent most of the time going through them in front of everyone going, "Not gonna read that one, not gonna read that one." Ew, come on guys. If woman has starch masks on body, does that mean she has been pregnant before? Am I pregnant? We pretty much learned that the balls get hairy, that's all. All there really is to asked. My middle school B-Bed teacher held both hands out away from his body, palms turned up, and said, "I like to play with my wife's tit, and that's how you get a woman pregnant." One guy in my class kept fainting when he saw any private parts, so because of him we didn't get ****. Dumbass theory. Man was missing half his blood, so he kept getting a boner and then passing out from lack of O2 to the brain. The only beep education that we got in my school was a 2-week course during our biology class. I lived in a pretty conservative part of Texas growing up, so our beep education was basically just about abstinence and a few of the really gross STD pictures. Our biology professor showed us a live birth every year. The worst part is that it was a video of her giving birth to her son. I never want to think about my teachers, especially while giving birth. My husband teaches high school. They get age-appropriate and comprehensive BBET from around 2nd grade. It's state-mandated, gladly, because I'm sure my super-conservative county wouldn't allow it. So, BBET doesn't hold stigma in the presentation. Here's the curriculum. Here is why it's the curriculum. Teach it. However, if any of the teachers showed their own birth video in class, they'd probably be asked to resign. Show a birth video, by all means, but keep it professional and educational. Making an example of your own bits is super-duper ethical. Yeah, something about it is just weird. And even if I had to resort to my own birth video, I feel like I would edit it so it's me and never own up to it. But even that is still super weird. Hella uncomfortable. Once in 7th grade, a girl asked if you could get pregnant by a beep driver. I think about that girl a lot. Well, you. I found a rusty toolkit in my basement, and I don't think I can afford child support. The teacher was just like hysterically laughing, and one girl goes, "Yeah, if there's sperm on it." So the conclusion is don't beep on a screwdriver and put it inside a lake. Guys are fine though. Boys and girls were paired to put condoms on bananas one at a time. Fun times discovering who was proficient and who less so. Immediate chaos as some of the girls turn out to be quite talented at it. I was trying to put the condom inside out on the banana. It wasn't working, and my partner puts her hands on mine and helps me fix it. I remained seated after class was dismissed. I remember in year 10 some people came to our school they put the boys in a separate classroom and then talked about how to use feminine hygiene products for an hour, to a room of 15 to 16-year-old girls. I later learned from my friends that to the boys they talked about nocturnal emissions. Great job, whichever organization that was. Talk about shutting the stable door after the horse has bolted. Never heard this one before, but I like it. My son went to a public school in SoCal. When he was 17, he got a girlfriend and I decided to have the talk with him. When I mentioned condoms, he said he probably wouldn't use one because he know about the microscopic holes in them that let bacteria and viruses through. I was floored. "Where did you hear that?" I asked. "Health class last year. We presented a scientific paper on it." I asked him to show me the paper. I then asked him why he would think this was true since I wore latex gloves while pregnant with him, at my job at a large pharmaceutical company when I was working with AIDS-positive blood back in the day. Well, he could not find the paper. It had been taken off the internet, but I learned the health teacher taught them about abstinence, and not using condoms. I called the school and WS informed the health teacher was no longer with the school. I spent the next 18 months running into this belief among all his friends and peers and worked to reverse the damage. I am still angry about it to this day. When we were in 8th grade, we had the beep ed teacher come in and talk to us. She showed a picture of a normal beep ***, like one of those see-through pictures that, well, in that it showed the balls. The teacher explained what they do and why you need them to impregnate. She asked if there's any questions. Suddenly my friend Alex raises his hand and asks, "Let's say that a boy only has one ball. Could I still have kids?" And that's how we all found out Alex only had one ball. Poor beep Alex, did he at least get his answer? Turns out you can have a kid with one ball, so he's fine lol. They simply decided to stop teaching beep ed my year. No explanation. Once we even asked the health teacher, "Hey, are we ever going to get beep ed?" And she goes, "Do you guys really want to learn your—" Yes, we did. On a totally unrelated note, we had in GT 6 student pregnancies in my last couple years of high school, and almost 10 more before the kids in my class turned 20. Wild how that happens. What a terrible teacher. My first encounter was in elementary school, I believe. They separated us by gender and gave us the talk. The instructor was talking about genital hygiene at one point. I was genuinely confused when I learned some folks still have that extra bit of skin on their beep, and need to take extra care to wash. I went home and for the life of me couldn't figure out what I was missing. Later on, beep taught me what an uncircumcised. Dad says one is a lock, the other is a key. Mom says beep is sacred. Any other info was beyond me lightning. The beep ed teacher had a bag full of goodies, as she put it. I pulled out a beep asterisk. That's so weird. TF did she want you to do with class? Does this smell weird to you? Science teacher here. We teach reproduction and puberty to 11-year-olds. I always do an anonymous question box every